For the last number of years, we've been joking about as Thanksgiving comes around, as these Christmas comes around, as Easter, all these things come around. We wonder how much fewer and fewer people actually come to your dinner table because the concept of talking politics has really become beyond toxic. And the one name that drives, for some reason, the shivers up the people's back is Donald J. Trump. And for some reason, if you want to bring him up, that causes unbelievable arguments and fights. However, is it possible, Stuart, that people are actually feeling relief and are seeking environments in which they can express themselves about the 47th president? Good day, everybody, and welcome back to the Rant Network. I am David Solomon. He is Stuart Brisgell. Welcome back to the Rant Network, where we bring you unedited, unfiltered, uncensored conversations on a wide range of topics. This podcast is dedicated to giving you the platform to express your opinions, our opinions, share the thoughts, ideas, experiences, and hear from a variety of perspectives and honest opinions. And today, Stuart will be talking about one of his experiences. Quite interesting. We generally dive into the latest news, pop culture, and so much more. It's all about absurdity of modern life, people, because we're living in absurd times. Because you can't get anything more absurd than what we're at. But these are deeper issues that affect us in society. So, folks, sit back as we dive in today to this one topic about politics. Stuart, while you were at a conference, I was at a networking event yesterday, and somebody asked me, what was the one thing in 2024 that really got to you? And I said, what's interesting is the conversation about politics really dominated 2024. This election year really dominated conversations. But if you said you even thought Donald Trump would win, you would say anything positive about Donald Trump, you could lose friends, business acquaintances, contacts, relationships, you name it. But Stuart, you seem to have gone to a conference and felt a different vibe post the November election. Stuart, what happened?
I was fortunate enough. I have a lot of good friends. A lot of my Wall Street guys are close with a guy named Grant Cardone, famous for his 10X programs. And so this weekend, he kicked off a 10X Wealth, an initial conference, the first of its kind, where he had in a local market about 1,500 people and speakers literally from around the globe. And the level of education and brains that were on the stage was mind-boggling, insane, great. Charlie Gasparino hosted some of the most interesting topics. He's a Fox News finance guy on Fox Business, who's a real reporter. Whether he's Democrat or Republican, he doesn't really allude to which his political bias is, but he asks the questions on both sides, equally as hard. But I'll tell you that every single one of the guests that took that stage, and again, that's a secret list for the most part, basically took a lap, took a dance, literally on stage, as if they were finally relieved not to hide their political opinions any longer. It seems that if you were thinking about voting for anyone other than Kamala Harris, you were very silent, unless you are a hardcore Donald Trump lover. And let's be honest, not everyone's a hardcore lover. They're just regular Republicans who really have a distaste towards a lot of the way Donald Trump conducts himself, because let's face it, he's not exactly Uncle Buck. And that's okay. The President of the United States doesn't have to fit what you feel he has to fit. He has to be able to do the job for the country, and that's simple. But in this conference, I saw more people that were just relieved that he is now president. Now, this conference morphed into another conference called Market Rebellion, with two of the best options traders by far in the world, okay, which are the Nigerian brothers, which also include another keynote person that was very interesting to have there was Mr. Fisher, the gold man himself. Everyone was taking a victory lap that Donald Trump won this election. And these are hardcore New Yorkers, Wall Street people alike. Now, you would say, oh, but the rich are going to benefit him. That's why they voted for him. Well, Mark Cuban didn't like Donald Trump very much. And yet we talked about Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban, the big baby in Texas, decided to terminate his friendship with someone on Instagram because they had a post that was pro Donald Trump. But the Democrats or the anti Trumpers can get away doing stupid shit like this. But if you are a Republican and you supported your party, oh boy, you're going to be roasted on that dining room table still because they still feel that they're in control. Every single pick. Now, let's understand the law. You're accused of a crime. Well, I can accuse every single one of you of a crime. That means you're an accused. Have you been tried? Have you been acquitted? Have a jury or peers convicted you? I'm accusing you of being immoral, irrational, and stupid. And I'm accusing you of abusing the other sex. That makes you an abuser. Now, the left is now running to the thing, well, the picks that Donald Trump have been accused of X, Y, and Z. Okay. I see Donald Bragg, who's trying to now hold the president of the United States hostage by not completing a sentencing. Well, I'm accusing him of doing something that's immoral, irrational. And that an 82-year-old man in 2029 will be more dangerous than the criminals we're allowing on the streets every single day and providing them nothing but immense trials. Are we seeing the immigrants that are doing death and destruction in the States being accused? No. But at your dinner table this Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, is there going to be more dialogue about Donald Trump? Are you going to feel less fearful at the person holding the knife, carving the turkey, going, yes, I voted for Donald Trump? I mean, I really, David, in your family, you have some more diverse colors in politics from different sides of your extended family. So the question is, how is that Thanksgiving dinner going to go? Is it going to be I'm crying, or is it going to be a president's been elected duly by the will of the people and I accept him? Or are they going to be denying, and like the anti-Trumpers from 2020, well, he's not my president, he's not my president? Are they going to stop temper tantrums next? Because I don't understand it. I mean, the majority now, the newest thing is that Donald Trump didn't have as many votes as Hillary Clinton. And I'm like scratching my head. I heard that on CNN. And I'm like, I don't get it. The largest vote, Dave, you can fact check that one. I couldn't believe I heard that's their new get out of free jail card. That Donald Trump didn't have it. Like, can they get over it?
No. And I think what you expressed is actually, refreshing. I mean, I joke about this. I mean, the old one was, back in the day when Richard Nixon won his second term, it was a landslide. And after he was thrown out, right, actually, after he stepped down, I should say, they asked, when you asked Americans, did you vote for Nixon? Oh, of course not. I didn't vote for that criminal. And it was just funny in the 1970s. Fast forward to the 80s, 1984 election, Ronald Reagan wins 49 out of 50 states, if I recall correctly. Greatest landslide in American political history. And yet, if you try to ask people, did you vote for Reagan? And they would say no. Well, how is it possible that he took states like New York and California if he didn't vote for a Republican? And it's just amazing, the denial and the denial and the denial, the denial. In 2017, there was, the feeling was that the election was stolen by Donald Trump. And I'm like, in what way? I just don't understand it. Well, Hillary got more votes. I mean, and you said it yourself. The whining and the complaining has been unbelievable. This time around, the left, who, I heard, again, Bill Maher, another one saying, the Democrats have conceded the election and it's fine. And we see what's going on in Pennsylvania, which is not. And we're hearing the whining from the left, which it's not. And you're hearing but that's what I'm hearing at the dinner tables. These are the comments I'm hearing in conversations. It's funny because in my travels, and I've done a few international travels lately, people are coming to me like, would you have supported Donald Trump, Stuart? Like almost like in a whisper. And I said, well, yeah, I would, because I don't believe in the other side. I'm taking away the personalities. I'm looking at the policies. And then it's as if I said, do I believe in some horrifying, belief? And some people just literally lose their minds. And I get what's going on here. The rhetoric that's been dumped in people's heads over the last 20 years has been unbelievable. And the media, social media, and other sources, we see what's happened. But the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, that over 76 million people voted for Donald Trump. Less than 76 million people voted for Kamala Harris. More states, majority, went to Donald Trump. The Electoral College went to Donald Trump. That means people voted for Donald Trump. If you voted for Kamala Harris and you believe that the world is coming to an end, and if you believe like Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski from MSNBC, who spewed out that he's Hitler, and then ran to Mar-a-Lago to go visit him and vilify them, that's where I want the vilification to be. I want the vilification of the people who've been on the left, who've, vilified the living crap out of Donald Trump, and now you're changing your tune. That's where the hate should go. Not me, not you. We've been saying all along, as two conservatives, we believed that the Donald Trump policies were better than the Kamala Harris policies. And if you voted for, I can't vote, obviously. So if you vote for, fine. And it's refreshing to see in a conference that people are actually able to express themselves without any form of retribution. This is what I don't understand. You agree with me or you're my enemy is idiotic. Okay? That in democracy, you have every right to express yourself. But where's simple common sense? You had 4 years of Trump, 4 years of Biden, and the people voted for 4 more years of Trump. It was a referendum, people. The majority spoke. The majority of states spoke. Pennsylvania, Michigan, North Carolina, all the blue states, Wisconsin, they all said the same thing. We want Donald Trump, and we're not embarrassed to do so. FEMA embarrassed themselves by skipping homes, allegedly, that had Donald Trump signs on it. Like, if you're going to play this kind of games, people, then shame on you. Then the left needs to wake up and needs to get a head shake. Because I don't have to agree with you on everything you say. But to yell at me, scream at me, and demean me and degrade me as they've done, because I don't believe in socialist politics. I don't believe in what the Democrats are providing. And yet they still didn't learn, Stuart.
Yeah, listen, when again, we're going to have to wrap this up soon. David, it's like when you look at the Secretary of Health, as I'm calling the new position, and you look at what's there now, and you look at RFK, you look at the Defense Secretary nomination.
How about the Transport Secretary, Stuart? How about the Secretary of Transport? The mayor who bankrupted his own city, ruined America, and now they bring in, I think was it Sean Duffy? I think it was to be the transport. Maybe I'm wrong. To be the Transport Secretary, and the left goes, "What are you doing? How could you bring somebody like that?" And you're like, "Why? Because the current guy was any better?" You can't have a conversation with people, Stuart. It's like the left has just wind its way. And it's funny because it's the Republicans who couldn't concede the election. But if you watch what the Dems are doing and what people are saying at dinner tables, and yes, you're right, I have a very colorful family in all directions. But you want to know what? When the election was over, only a couple of them called me and said, "Are you happy?" The others hid. And in fact, some of them I haven't heard from since the election. So, Stuart, that's just to give you an idea of what's up with this. My friend, I'll give you the last word on this one.
Again, I got into a conversation with a good group of Mexicans, David, and they were ramping and rolling about the defense secretary pick, just to give you one of many stories, and about how they can pick a guy that lacks the senior position in military and that he hadn't worked up his way up his ranks. I said, "Oh, so he's not corrupt, crooked, and
biased. The word is biased. Yeah,
clearly that hasn't kissed enough ass to get where he's gotten. The guy served more hours in the military than anyone else before him, yet he is the one who's been accused of, I'm so tired of this. David,
76 million people voted for a major change. You heard the comment, we need change. You saw one of the polls said there was a massive amount of people who hated what the government is currently doing and have mistrust towards the government. And when he puts in change, like typical humans, they flip out, especially on the left. Stuart, with that, I'm going to love you and leave you, my friend. That's it for another, hump day version of the Rant Network. We hope you've enjoyed it. We gained some valuable insights. Folks, we really, really ask you, take 5 friends, ask them to like and share this. This is great. This would be phenomenal. Download us on all the podcast verticals. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on the rantnetwork.com.